What if you only had to buy fertilizer once? Not once a season, not once a year, but once in your entire gardening life. No bags to haul, no blue crystals to dissolve, no recurring costs eating into your harvest budget. Just a single plant, put in the ground, quietly doing the work of a full fertility system for decades. That plant exists. It's called Comfrey, and most gardeners have never heard of it. To understand why Comfrey is so remarkable, you have to start underground. Most vegetables and herbs have shallow root systems. They forage in the top 12 to 18 inches of soil. That's the zone we manage, amend, and fight over every season. Below that, a largely untapped reservoir of minerals that most crops simply can't access. Comfrey doesn't play by those rules. Its taproot drives downward with extraordinary force, reaching depths of 6 feet, sometimes more. It's essentially drilling into subsoil layers that a carrot or a tomato plant could never touch, pulling up potassium, calcium, nitrogen, and phosphorus that have been sitting there, locked and inaccessible for years. Then it brings all of that back up into its leaves. This is what makes Comfrey so fundamentally different from any other cover crop or green manure. It doesn't just recycle what's already near the surface. It mines the deep earth and deposits those minerals exactly where your food plants need them most. Once you look at Comfrey's nutrient profile, it's hard to go back to thinking of it as just another garden plant. Fresh Comfrey leaves typically contain 2 to 3% nitrogen, comparable to decent compost. Phosphorus sits around 1%, but the real headline is potassium, up to 7% in well-grown specimens of the best varieties. To put that in context, standard farmyard manure rarely exceeds 1.5% potassium. Comfrey can deliver 4 or 5 times that figure. Why does potassium matter so much? Because it's the mineral most directly linked to fruit quality. Bigger tomatoes, sweeter peppers, heavier squash. Potassium drives all of it. It regulates water movement in plant cells, supports photosynthesis, and helps crops resist disease. Any gardener growing fruiting vegetables is essentially chasing potassium all season long. Comfrey hands it over for free, and unlike many organic amendments, Comfrey releases its nutrients almost immediately. Its leaves are low in fiber and high in soft, moist tissue. Lay them on bare soil and they begin breaking down within hours, usually fully decomposed within 48 hours. There's no waiting 2 months for compost pile to mature. No risk of nitrogen lockup from woody material. Just a rapid, clean nutrient release right at the root zone. Not all Comfrey is created equal, and it's worth knowing the history of the best variety available today. In the 1950s, a British horticulturalist named Lawrence Hills became obsessed with the question of soil fertility. Post-war Britain was lean, and Hills believed deeply that small-scale growers needed a fertility system that didn't depend on chemical inputs or expensive imports. He spent years gathering and trialing different Comfrey strains, growing them side by side on a small rented plot in Bocking, Essex. His goal was to find a variety that combined maximum nutrient output with one critical trait: the inability to spread by seed. Wild Comfrey can be invasive, and no practical grower wants a fertility plant that colonizes their entire garden. After years of selection and careful crossbreeding, Hills identified what he called Bocking 14. It was sterile, producing no viable seeds, yet outperformed every other variety in potassium content and regrowth speed. Disease resistance was strong. Yields were exceptional, with well-managed plots producing 4 or 5 full harvests per season, even on marginal soils. Rather than profit from the discovery, Hills distributed root cuttings freely, building a network of growers who trialed, tested, and reported back. His Henry Doubleday Research Association became the foundation of Britain's organic gardening movement. Bocking 14 spread quietly through vegetable plots and small holdings across the country, and eventually the world. Today it remains the gold standard. A plant that stays exactly where you put it, multiplies only when you divide it deliberately, and gives back more than almost anything else you can grow. The beauty of Comfrey is its flexibility. There's no single right method, just 3 simple approaches, each suited to a different situation. Chop and drop is the most effortless. Cut the leaves at the base, lay them directly around the stems of your vegetables, and step back. No processing, no tools, no further steps required. Within 2 days, you'll have a dark, moisture-retaining mulch that slowly feeds the soil life beneath it. Do this regularly through the season, and the soil improves every time. Compost activation is where Comfrey earns its reputation as the gardener's secret weapon. A compost heap full of dry autumn leaves or woody stems can stall completely. Too much carbon, not enough nitrogen to keep the microbial community working. Layer Comfrey leaves between those dry materials and the heap heats up within hours, sometimes by as much as 15 degrees. The soft, protein-rich tissue is essentially fast food for soil microbes, kickstarting decomposition and turning a stalled pile back into rich, finished compost in a fraction of the usual time. Comfrey tea is the third method, best used for fruiting crops at critical moments, when flowers are forming, when fruit is swelling, when plants are under stress. Pack a bucket tightly with fresh leaves, cover with water, and leave it somewhere you won't be bothered by the smell. After 1 to 2 weeks of fermentation, you'll have a concentrated liquid feed with an NPK ratio roughly equivalent to high potassium commercial tomato fertilizers. Dilute it 10 to 1 before applying, and use it as a root drench at the base of your plants. The results in flower set and fruit size are consistently impressive. Here's what separates Comfrey from every other soil amendment in your toolkit: the compounding effect over time. Year 1, you plant a few crowns. Year 2, the root system deepens and the plants establish fully. By year 5, the soil beneath your Comfrey patch has measurably improved. Looser, darker, richer in organic matter, and alive with earthworm activity. By year 10, you're managing a fertility engine that costs you almost nothing to maintain and delivers harvests of nutrient-dense mulch material every few weeks throughout the growing season. There's no annual purchase, no delivery to schedule, no calculation about how many bags you'll need this spring. The plant does the accounting for you, pulling minerals from deep in the earth and presenting them to your vegetables on a cycle that runs itself. For gardeners genuinely interested in building soil rather than just feeding plants, Comfrey represents something rare, a permanent solution, one that improves with age, asks almost nothing of you, and connects the deep mineral wealth of your land to the surface where food actually grows. Plant it once. Let it work. The soil will tell you everything you need to know.